It's March now, and it's usually a lot warmer than this around here in March. So I'm still throwing seed out for the sparrows to help them get through the night. And a really cool thing happened this week with our local sparrow flock. A new species joined it. It's called a fox sparrow, a red fox sparrow. And this is great because it gives us a reason to tell you our fox sparrow story. And to do that, we're going to go up and spin the globe around again, and we're going to time travel back to when Michael and I were younger, and I think we had a better fashion sense. Okay, you see my point about the fashion, but I'm digressing. And there's plenty on the internet about fashion, but hardly anything about fox sparrows, so let's get back to the point. There he goes, the red fox sparrow. He's here in our yard just for the winter. To tell the big story of this little sparrow, we're leaving our yard and heading up to take a look at the whole continent. Red fox sparrows are fairly abundant in the eastern states during the winter. You can see here the winter range is the blue area. But these guys are serious about migration, and they head thousands of miles north to breed in the springtime. In 2002, we headed up into the wilderness of northern Canada and Alaska, looking for sparrows to film. And we actually took a road this far north, driving our homemade camper. It's incredible up in the Arctic this time of year. Vast open space, just covered with stunted green trees and blooming tundra, and lots of insects for a few very intense weeks. You can see why fox sparrows move up here. The living is easy for a while, and if you have wings, you can leave when it gets cold. Now here's where the red fox sparrow story gets even more interesting. There are 4 groups of distinct sparrows that are all called foxes. There's the red, the slate-colored fox, the thick-billed fox, and the sooty fox. This is exciting because these guys are on the very verge of being declared separate species, and that's a big deal in biology. So let's take a look at it. There's where the red fox sparrow breeds, in the yellow. Then, tucked into the western mountains, is the slate-colored group, cut off from the reds by very high mountains. We traveled to an impressive forest in Montana to find a slate-colored fox next to a stream. His song, his color, his spots, the plants he lives in, and it turns out his DNA are all slightly different than the reds. A species is a group of organisms that's evolved in a unified way, so they look and behave differently than all other groups. And a species rarely breeds outside its own group, and that's what's holding up the fox sparrow declaration. Some of these slate-colored rascals appear to be in close relationships with members of the thick-billed group. And who can blame them? But it makes things complicated and fun. I'll put links at the bottom where you can read more about this drama, because the show must move on. Now let's take a look at the next group, the sooty fox sparrows. They're spread along the Pacific coast and separated from their cousins by some serious mountains. We traveled to the Pacific coast town of Homer, Alaska to find sooty fox sparrows. And we ran into some big nature there. I'm going to leave it in the show to provide a clunky contrast to the graceful little beauty of the sooty fox sparrow. Sooties don't just look and sound a little different than the others and have different DNA, but some of these guys also make impressive migrations, thousands of miles over open ocean, to reach Southern California for the winter. And here in California and Oregon is where we find the last group, the thick-billed fox sparrows. The thickest of all are in the mountains outside of Los Angeles, so when we heard about those, what choice did we have? Look, there's Michael in Los Angeles. He's trying his best to fit in. But you can imagine how that went. That dot there is us fleeing for the hills. California is incredible, all those people, yet just a short drive into the mountains. It's like another world. It's a thick-billed fox sparrow world. That is a seriously thick bill. So why does it matter whether fox sparrows are one species or four? It doesn't matter to them, they're just going to keep singing. But one of the great things about human nature is that we really want to figure out the world around us. And to do this, we organize things into groups. When we're organizing living things, it's called taxonomy. It's trying to figure out the tree of life, so to speak. So if all these fox sparrows become separate species, that's a big deal. For me, knowing what species are around me is one of the best parts about being human. It may just be a little brown bird in my backyard that shows up in the winter, but if I know what species it is, then I can learn its story. And some species have stories that reach across the continent. So 3 cheers for taxonomy, and we'll see you next time.